There's somebody beating up my neighbor with a bat.
All right, what town is it?
We're on Myrtle Road.
It's like a nightmare.
Yeah. What the?
You just help this kid.
He just got into the Uber, but he's armed, and I want to make sure.
What kind of weapon does he have?
He has a little pistol. He fired 3 rounds into my boyfriend this morning.
Oh my, okay.
So I was extremely depressed, starting out the year. I just kind of felt like I needed something to inspire me.
Come on with your hands up. Put your hands up. Hands up. Who's in here? Who's in? Anybody else in here?
Yeah, the guy you're looking for. That son of a... He's made a goddamn entrance in there. I've been here for 2 days.
Okay, where is he?
He took my pickup. He stripped the house. He's gone.
Okay. And how do you know him?
He showed up at my house this morning and shot my boyfriend.
May 22nd, 2020. A quiet Connecticut town was about to witness something it hadn't seen in decades. A trail of terror unlike anything local law enforcement had ever faced. It started with a stranger walking down a rural road in Willington. Dressed in black, carrying a duffel bag and a sword, he looked like something out of a nightmare. Within minutes, one man lay dead, another brutally injured. The suspect vanished into the woods. What followed was a chilling, multi-state manhunt that spanned 6 days and left communities across the Northeast gripped with fear. Every new alert sent shockwaves. Another stolen vehicle, another break-in, another body. The man authorities were hunting wasn't a hardened criminal or escaped convict. He was a 23-year-old college student from a quiet Connecticut suburb. His name, Peter Manfredonia. But the question no one could answer was why. Why would a bright, promising young man suddenly snap? Why did he target the people he did? And what darkness had been brewing beneath the surface of his seemingly normal life? As authorities raced against time, unraveling Peter's violent path across 3 states, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a random outburst. It was a calculated descent into chaos. And at the center of it all was a mind unraveling, leaving death and devastation in its wake. This is the story of the man who walked out of the woods and into America's headlines. Before the name Peter Manfredonia would send shockwaves across the nation, he was just another face in a graduating class photo. A bright student, a son, a friend. Born and raised in Newtown, Connecticut, a town already marred by the haunting legacy of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting.
Today marks 10 years since the horror in Newtown, Connecticut, when 20 students and 6 adults were gunned down at Sandy Hook Elementary School.
A decade since that day feels like a lifetime to some, and to others, it was like it was just yesterday.
Peter's childhood was seemingly uneventful. He was known for his intelligence, soft-spoken demeanor, and athletic ability. But beneath the surface, something much darker was brewing. Peter graduated from Newtown High School in 2015 and went on to attend the University of Connecticut, majoring in finance and engineering. He was often described as articulate, introspective, and even philosophical. Friends say he spoke frequently about social issues, morality, and mental health. But those same friends also noted a gradual change in his behavior. By his junior year, Peter had withdrawn from campus life, battled bouts of depression, and started exhibiting signs of paranoia. At times, he'd speak of being followed or watched, claiming people were out to get him. He sought help occasionally, even attended therapy, but nothing seemed to root out the storm raging within. His family later said that Peter had struggled for years with mental illness, including diagnosed depression and possible bipolar disorder. At one point, he voluntarily checked into a mental health facility, but was discharged days later. Despite these red flags, he continued his education and appeared to be managing until 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic forced the world into isolation. For Peter, that isolation became fuel for his delusions. In the months leading up to the attacks, Peter's social media presence became more erratic. He posted cryptic messages, referenced feeling trapped, and hinted at wanting to disappear. Those close to him noticed he was losing weight, sleeping erratically and talking in circles. But no one imagined he was planning anything violent. Peter had also become obsessed with a classmate from high school. Nicholas Eisel, a quiet young man who had dated a woman Peter was allegedly fixated on. The relationship was long over, but in Peter's mind, it became a source of resentment and spiraling delusion. He spoke of betrayal, of being wronged, of revenge. The details are murky, but what's clear is that Peter's grip on reality was slipping, and fast. As the spring of 2020 arrived, Peter's world grew darker. He left cryptic goodbye notes to some friends. He told one acquaintance he wouldn't be around much longer. On May 21st, he vanished from his family's home in Newtown. By the next morning, he was walking down Myrtle Road in Willington, dressed in black and carrying a bag that held, among other things, a samurai sword. What brought Peter to Willington remains unclear. Some reports suggest he was trying to reach a former girlfriend or friend who lived nearby. Others say he simply wandered. But what happened next would shatter any illusion that this was a man merely struggling with internal demons. He had crossed a line, and there was no turning back. The morning of May 22, 2020, began like any other in the quiet town of Willington, Connecticut. Peaceful, still, and untouched by the chaos that would soon erupt. But on a rural road not far from the state forest, 62-year-old Ted Demers noticed a man walking alone. He looked disheveled, dressed in black, carrying a duffel bag. Ted, known in the neighborhood for his generosity, pulled up in his ATV and offered the stranger a ride. That man was Peter Manfredonia. Within minutes of stepping into Ted's vehicle, something snapped. Authorities say Peter suddenly attacked Ted with a machete or sword, striking him repeatedly with savage force. Nearby, 80-year-old John Franco, hearing the commotion, ran to help, only to be brutally assaulted himself. Ted died at the scene. John, barely clinging to life, was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The attack was so fast, so violent, that it stunned investigators.
There's somebody beating up my neighbor with a bat.
All right, what town?
We're on Myrtle Road.
Connect you with the police. Don't hang up.
Location of your emergency.
Willington, Connecticut.
Okay. Any emergency?
There's someone beating my neighbor with a bat or something outside.
911, where's the emergency?
Yes, we need an ambulance on the road in Willington.
What's going on there?
A dirt bike just came down. I don't know what happened. I didn't see it, but someone's hit. 2 people are hit really badly.
Okay, was a dirt bike accident?
Do you need an ambulance? I don't know. I don't really know if it was a car or a dirt bike, but 2 people are hit really badly. Get here quick, please.
Okay, I'm right out.
Okay, thank you. All the way at the end of the road.
Okay, we'll let them know. T in here?
Okay, do you have people en route from Myrtle Road? There's supposed to be 2 injured parties there from an assault.
Oh, it's an assault. Okay.
He said the accuser left. He's saying one of the parties is missing their hand. Now, he thought it was a bat they used, but maybe there was some other instrument.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, they're still in the roadway. I'm calling somebody off of that roadway call to go down there.
Okay, they're on the way.
Thank you.
911, location emergency.
Yeah, we're at Myrtle Road in Willington, and at the end of the Myrtle Road are 2 very hurt men, and they got attacked by a guy on a motorcycle.
Oh.
This is an emergency.
Okay. Do you think they need an ambulance?
Yes. You need 2. And there's a guy, the motorcycle kid, went down Myrtle Road and went onto Route 320, and I don't know where he went from there.
Peter didn't stay to watch the aftermath. Instead, he fled into the nearby woods, disappearing into thick forest with his weapon, his bag, and now blood on his hands.
We'll shut this off. Okay.
It's like a nightmare.
Yeah. What's that?
You just help this kid.
Let me just... Yeah, we'll leave it running for now.
How can people be so mean? How can someone do that to another person? Jesus. the woodworker that cut his hand off.
Are you right-handed or left?
I'm right-handed. I grew up in Hartford.
Oh, did you?
Never had this kind of violence out here. Whew.
Hours passed. Helicopters circled overhead. K-9 units combed the area. But Peter had already made his next move. He broke into a nearby home and held a man hostage for over 24 hours. The homeowner, whose identity remains protected, later told police that Peter spoke about his mental illness, his regret, and his desire not to hurt more people. Yet he was armed, agitated, and clearly dangerous. After stealing food, clothing, and the man's truck, Peter vanished once more.
Size of hole originally.
Look at that thing. Maybe we could break this knob and just go in.
We'll just give me it. We'll just go. We're just gonna make this hole bigger. You reach in. State police. Down there.
Identify yourself. Come on with your hands up. Come on with your hands up. Put your hands up. Hands up. Who's in here? Who's in? Anybody else in here?
Yeah, the guy you're looking for. That son of a. He made a goddamn entrance in there. I've been here for 2 days.
Okay, where is he?
He took my pickup. He stripped the house. He's gone.
Is he in here?
That guy's a wacko.
Is he in here?
He's not in here.
Turn. Where's the light? Where's the light?
Right to your left, officer.
Right here?
No, right in the corner. All the lights are right.
He's not in here?
He's not in.
Where did he go?
I'm pretty sure.
Clear this area.
Is the pickup gone?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got the white pickup. That son of a.
He's not in here.
Got it. I am so happy to see you guys. How'd you get
You
here?
okay?
Donald, where's your guns?
Okay.
Do you have guns in the safe?
No, I got him upstairs. He took my goddamn Beretta, my handgun.
Got handguns.
That son of a.
This is clear.
Okay. I don't know what else he took up there.
With a firearm stolen from this residence.
He left about.
Advised through by.
Yeah, he loaded up the pickup. I don't know what he took, but I don't know where he's going. But he's dangerous.
Basement's clear. Basement's clear.
Do you want
to document this or get tied up before we cut him loose?
Basement's clear.
I don't have a map, Gail. Sorry.
He
didn't either. So.
Did you get assaulted, sir? Did he hit you at all?
Pardon me?
Did you get assaulted at all?
You're not injured, right?
Did he strike you at all? Did he hit you? Anything like that? No.
No,
Just tied you up. Okay.
He put the gun to the back of my head and I was sleeping. He says, "Don't turn around, I'll blow your head off." You did capture him? He's under.
No.
He's still on the run.
No, he's still on the run.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Abandon the pickup?
Yeah. Yep. We found your pickup truck in Derby.
The good thing is that you're okay. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as tragic as
Yeah. It could have been a lot worse. That was like some
right.
scary movie type crap. All right. Okay.
Authorities issued a statewide alert. Schools and towns locked down. Connecticut was on edge. No one knew where he'd strike next, or if he'd already crossed state lines. Then came the second murder. On May 24th, Peter showed up in Darby, Connecticut, 70 miles from the first crime scene. There, he forced his way into the apartment of Nicholas Eisel, a 23-year-old acquaintance from Newtown. What exactly unfolded inside that apartment remains largely unknown, but by the time police arrived, Nicholas was dead, shot at close range. His girlfriend had been abducted. Peter drove the terrified woman across state lines, eventually releasing her unharmed at a rest stop in New Jersey.
Hello? Hi, Kyle?
Yeah, this is Kyle, yep.
Okay, so you picked up the gentleman or no?
No, the gentleman pulled into the truck stop and said he needed an Uber.
Okay.
and offered me money to call him an Uber, said he needed to get to work. So I called him an Uber.
Okay.
He just got into the Uber, but he's armed, and I want to make sure.
What kind of weapon does he have?
He has a little pistol. He fired 3 rounds into my boyfriend this morning.
Oh my, okay. So, all right, he got into a Chevy Impala. Look at your Uber account and tell me what the plate is on that vehicle.
Yeah, well, I'm really concerned about the Uber driver.
Okay, so give me the info. All right, put me on speaker. Look at your Uber account right now and get me that information.
Yes. KXY3216.
Okay. Pennsylvania?
It doesn't say what. I would assume that's Pennsylvania. It doesn't sound like New Jersey.
Okay. And it's a what colored Chevy Impala?
Black Chevy Impala. The driver's name is Reginald.
Okay. What's the boyfriend's name? Or what's what's the
guy who's running away?
Yes. What's his name?
His name is Peter Manfredonia. He's wanted in Connecticut for...
Spell his last name for me.
M-A-N as in Nancy, F-R-E-D as in dog, O-N-I-A. Trust me, just Google him and you'll know exactly who it is.
It's fine. What's the first name again?
Peter.
Peter. Okay. Do you know his date of birth or no?
2/2/1997. I learned that from the Connecticut State Police Post.
Okay. And how do you know him?
He showed up at my house this morning and shot my boyfriend.
Okay, but how do you know him?
Her friends sent to elementary school. They went to Newtown together in Connecticut. We're from Connecticut. He put a gun to my head and made me drive him here.
Okay, and what kind of vehicle are you in?
We're in a blue Volkswagen EOS. We're at the Brook Hollow Winery in Knowlton.
Okay, a blue Volkswagen. Okay.
EOS.
Okay, and how the two of you know each other?
She's the one who called the Uber for the guy who
I know, but you don't know each other.
Listen. No, she pulled up, and this guy just wanted an Uber.
Okay.
So during this whole thing going on...
I'm asking directed questions. I will listen to everything you say, but do you know what address that he gave the Uber driver?
Yes. Starbucks. The Starbucks on Hamilton Street in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
She later told investigators that Peter repeatedly said he didn't want to hurt her. But the fact remained, he had murdered 2 men, injured another, taken a hostage, and stolen multiple vehicles, all in less than 72 hours. The manhunt was now national. The FBI joined the search. Airports, train stations, and bus terminals were alerted. And then another twist. Surveillance footage captured Peter walking along train tracks near East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Wearing stolen clothes, carrying a backpack, he looked calm, composed even, as if he wasn't a fugitive, but just another traveler. Investigators called it chilling. On May 26th, Peter was spotted near a Walmart in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. The sightings were like breadcrumbs, each leading further from the original crime scenes. He was always a few hours ahead, always moving, always avoiding capture. Authorities feared he might try to disappear entirely, or worse, kill again. But then, on May 27th, nearly 100 hours after his rampage began, the hunt ended in Hagerstown, Maryland. Acting on a tip, authorities cornered Peter near a truck stop. He didn't resist. He laid down, unarmed, and was taken into custody without incident. It was over.
Tonight, we caught the suspect, Peter Manfredonia. He was taken into custody in Hagerstown, Maryland. There could be state charges, federal charges, all of which will be worked out in the coming days, hours since then. The suspect will face justice, and this will bring closure. This is what is important for the families of the victims, all of which have been notified of the arrest immediately after. Connecticut State Police detectives utilize social media, technology, and good old-fashioned police work in order to track down the suspect. A firearm was found in the proximity of the arrest, which was believed to be the weapon that was used in the Derby homicide.
The weapon, believed to be a samurai-style sword, was never found. But Peter had left a trail of evidence behind: text messages, handwritten notes, video surveillance, and a string of victims who bore witness to the chaos. In interviews, Peter later claimed he hadn't planned the spree, that it was a psychotic break triggered by isolation mental illness, and unresolved trauma.
So going into that year, I was extremely depressed. Cause, I mean, I was stopped working out, binge eating, any bad habit that you could possibly name. And I had, nothing, like, no mindset to change it, no anything. And then eventually I just kind of felt like I needed something to inspire me. That's when I went. Yeah, okay. So I was extremely depressed starting out the year. And once I had hit the low point of doing the writing on the walls, that's when I came to the conclusion that I really needed to change something, to have something to, kind of work for, to kind of like keep me anchored and kind of keep my sight set downfield somewhere, rather than just like right in front of me, like trying to live for more than just like a day-to-day like existence, if that makes sense.
What were some of those bigger issues? You went to Newtown High. I can imagine there's some personal connection there. Like, was that something that bothered you?
Yes.
It was? Okay. And did that make you, so then what was the reason for connecting that with the, on your wall?
That when I drew on the wall, it was pretty much just, I was in a manic state and kind of anything, I couldn't even remember half the things that were on it, if you ask me now.
Would you compare that manic state that you were feeling then to maybe what you've been feeling the past few days? Is there any similarities there?
Another question.
If the reason why you can't remember why you wrote what you wrote on the wall, but you're comparing it and categorizing it as a manic state.
That's not like a diagnosis.
I know it's not like I know you're not clinically diagnosing yourself. This is how I'm saying that's how you're describing it.
It was like a
colloquially, you're right.
He told authorities he never intended to hurt anyone, but the facts were undeniable. 2 innocent men were dead, a third had been nearly killed, and a woman had been held hostage, unsure whether she'd live to see another day. The brutality of the crimes shocked even seasoned investigators. The randomness, the speed, the sheer lack of empathy. Peter Manfredonia's actions had turned small New England towns into crime scenes and left families forever scarred. But the story didn't end with his arrest. The question now turned to why and what justice would look like for those left behind. When Peter Manfredonia was arrested without incident on May 27, 2020, in Hagerstown, Maryland, authorities felt a wave of relief, but the hard work had just begun. The immediate danger was over, yes, but the mystery was far from solved. 2 men were dead, another was badly injured, a young woman had been abducted, and the key to understanding it all was locked inside Peter's mind and in the digital and physical trail he had left behind. From the moment the first call came in about the sword attack in Willington, Connecticut State Police were racing against the clock. The crime scene was gruesome, Ted Demers, a beloved local carpenter, had been hacked to death with what appeared to be a long, curved blade. John Franco, who had tried to help, was covered in deep wounds but clinging to life. As detectives combed through the scene, one thing was clear. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. It was something personal, something deliberate. The investigation shifted gears when they discovered the second murder, Nicholas Eisel. He'd been shot in the head in his Derby apartment. Shell casings were recovered. There were no signs of forced entry, suggesting Peter had either been let in or forced his way inside while Nicholas was vulnerable. Phone records and social media logs helped detectives piece together Peter's obsession with a woman both he and Nicholas had once known. Jealousy, they believed, had played a role, but it was just one part of a much more unstable puzzle. Meanwhile, the woman Peter abducted and later released in New Jersey became a vital witness. She told investigators that Peter had spoken in fragmented thoughts, rambling about his regret, his past, and how they were all going to pay. He had searched for methods of disappearing, ways to survive in the wild, and even suicide. He'd also looked up firearm mechanics, mental health conditions, and news coverage of other high-profile killings. It appeared that Peter had not planned one specific attack, but he had mentally prepared himself for violence and for life on the run. Investigators also discovered a chilling note left behind in the stolen truck Peter had abandoned in Pennsylvania. It referenced his hatred for certain people and institutions, mentioned trauma he suffered, and contained apologies to his parents. There were elements of clarity and moments of terrifying distortion. As investigators peeled back the layers, they also spoke to Peter's friends, classmates, and professors. Many described him as intelligent but emotionally volatile. One former roommate recalled Peter expressing fantasies of escape, vanishing into the forest and never being found. Mental health professionals were brought in to evaluate the documents he'd written and to help construct a profile that could be used in court. The crime scenes themselves were carefully documented and preserved. Forensics teams retrieved DNA from the weapon used in the sword attack, fingerprints from the stolen vehicles, and video footage from convenience stores and train stations Peter had passed through. Every clue helped reconstruct the violent path he had carved over those 5 days. By the time Peter was extradited to Connecticut, the case against him was airtight. Investigators had the evidence, the timeline, the witness statements, and the confessions he had made to those he encountered along the way. But what the investigation also uncovered was a trail of missed warnings, cries for help that had gone unanswered, psychiatric concerns that had been documented but never fully addressed, and a descent into madness that could have, just maybe, been intercepted. For law enforcement, the case was one of the most complex and emotionally charged in recent Connecticut history, not just because of the violence, but because the killer didn't fit the mold. He was one of their own, a hometown kid, a college student, a product of the same schools, the same streets, the same system, and now it was up to that system to deliver justice. After months of gathering evidence and processing the emotional wreckage left behind, the legal system began its slow, deliberate march toward justice. Peter Manfredonia, once a UConn senior with a promising future, now sat behind bars, shackled, silent, and facing 2 murder charges, along with a litany of other serious felonies. The public wanted answers. The victims' families wanted accountability, and the court had the monumental task of unraveling a crime spree born of madness and malice. Following his extradition from Maryland, Peter was booked in Connecticut and arraigned in multiple jurisdictions, one for each of the violent acts he had committed across the state. Prosecutors filed charges that included 2 counts of murder, attempted murder, first-degree assault, home invasion, kidnapping, burglary, and multiple weapons violations. The sheer weight of the charges was staggering. If convicted on all counts, Peter faced multiple life sentences. From the start, the defense hinted at what many expected, that they would pursue a mental health defense.
I'm here on behalf of Peter's parents. They asked me to begin by expressing their condolences to the families and loved ones of those who have been injured and have suffered over the past several days by the events that have led to Peter's flight from the area. Now I want to tell you a little bit about Peter. Peter is a Newtown High School graduate where he was a student athlete. He was an honor student and a football player in which he garnered all league honors. He went on to study at UConn in the honors program in the areas of finance and engineering, and he was working his way towards a degree in those areas. You won't be surprised to hear that Peter has struggled with mental health issues over the past several years. He sought the help of a number of therapists, and he's had the support of his parents and loved ones to help him through those struggles.
But the state wasn't convinced that mental illness alone excused his actions. Prosecutors painted a picture of a man who, while clearly disturbed, was still capable of planning, executing, and evading. They highlighted Peter's deliberate choices, the calculated way he fled each crime scene, how he stole weapons and vehicles, and how he made efforts to erase his digital footprint. This, they argued, was not the behavior of someone who was out of touch with reality. It was the behavior of someone who knew what he was doing and who knew it was wrong. In the months that followed, a series of hearings laid the groundwork for what many thought would be a lengthy, high-profile trial. But behind closed doors, plea discussions were underway. The victims' families were torn. Some wanted Peter to face the full weight of a public trial. Others, already broken by grief, wanted closure, even if it meant avoiding the spectacle of testimony, evidence, and media frenzy. Then in February 2023, the legal process took a dramatic turn. Peter Manfredonia entered guilty pleas in two separate courts, one in Rockville for the murder and assault in Willington, and another in Milford for the shooting death of Nicholas Eisel and the abduction of Eisel's girlfriend. He admitted to the killings, he acknowledged the pain he caused, and in doing so, he avoided a trial, but not a reckoning. In April 2023, Peter Manfredonia was sentenced to 55 years in prison, a sentence handed down after emotional, heart-wrenching statements from the families of his victims.
I won't lie, this plea deal does nothing for me except close the door on this court case.
Peter Manfredonia faced his fate in court, eyes forward, as the family and friends of the childhood friend he murdered, Nick Eisley, poured their hearts out.
I did die with Nick that day. The version of myself that went to bed with my boyfriend, my best friend, and the sweetest man I've ever met.
Shannon Spees was Eisley's girlfriend. She was there on the morning of May 24th, 2020, when, after kidnapping, assaulting, and killing 3 other men in Willington, Manfredonia entered her and Nick's Derby apartment, shot Nick to death, and kidnapped Spees, forcing her to drive for hours at gunpoint across state lines, until she was finally rescued by a Good Samaritan at a truck stop in New Jersey.
Between hearing the gruesome details that he felt like sharing and trying to be as nice as possible so that I could stay alive, I held my own funeral throughout that drive. I don't think I can finish right.
Shaking and sobbing for Nicholas Eisley's mom, the pain was just too much. But a long line of family and friends had plenty to tell the court, not only about their loved one,
the memories that we hold of Nicholas is all we have left,
but the so-called friend, Peter Manfredonia, who murdered him back on Memorial Day weekend in 2020.
A part of myself passed away with my brother that day that Peter ruthlessly and unforgivingly took him from this world.
As part of a plea deal, the judge sentenced Manfredonia to 55 years for murdering Eisley inside his Derby apartment and then kidnapping his girlfriend, Shannon Spees, holding her captive for more than 7 hours before authorities found her at a New Jersey rest stop.
There's no telling how amazing our future could have been, and I was robbed of ever knowing that happiness. I was robbed of ever knowing peace again, of feeling safe anywhere, even in my own home.
The multi-state manhunt started when Manfredonia first killed 62-year-old Ted Demers of Willington with a sword and injured another man before breaking into a home and holding that man hostage overnight. Manfredonia stole his guns in his pickup truck and drove down to Derby, where the crime spree continued until he was captured at a Maryland truck stop 6 days later. As marshals led Manfredonia away, emotions boiled over.
We love you, Peter.
But earlier, when it was her turn to speak, Nicholas Eisley's aunt made her feelings perfectly clear.
As a heartbroken aunt, I can only hope that the inmate system lives up to their reputation. and they welcome Nick's aggressor with open arms and show him the very same so-called friendship he showed my nephew.
Ted Demerse's widow described the unbearable silence in her home.
I was telling him he was going to be okay. I was telling him I loved him.
What she didn't know was Ted told a close friend that if anything ever happened to him, to tell Cindy a letter was waiting for her on his computer. He called it a just-in-case letter.
He said, Cindy, just keep moving forward.
It was at that very moment breaking news crossed her television.
I found the letter, and as I read it, is when it came on the TV that he had been apprehended. And so I was doing the happy dance.
A community safe, justice within reach, and setting in motion the beginning of a long and complex healing process.
Nothing's going to bring Ted back. Nothing's going to bring these victims back, you know. So he will have his day with his maker, you know. I don't think the gates of heaven will be opening up for him.
Peter sat silently through most of the proceedings. At one point, he stood and addressed the court, not to make excuses, but to apologize.
There are no words that can possibly atone for what I have done. Know that I am sorry nonetheless. You have done nothing to deserve the pain that I have caused. My actions were nothing short of irreprehensible. I do not expect forgiveness for my actions, and I will regret them every day for the rest of my life.
What I did was inexcusably horrendous, and I will regret it every day for the rest of my life. Not because of the consequences that this had on me, but because of the consequences it has had on your family.
The brutality of your crime I found shocking. I had a hard time speaking with your attorney and Mr. Gdansky regarding this sentence. I thought a harsher sentence should be put in place. But because of the victim's wishes, I didn't want them to have to live through this again.
Now, after the judge got done delivering her remarks, she imposed a 55-year agreed-upon plea deal prison sentence, making Manfredonia 88 if he survives that sentence. But don't forget, Manfredonia was just sentenced yesterday to another 55 years for that first murder, effectively ending his natural life outside of a prison cell and closing a very dark chapter in some still grieving families' lives.
In the wake of the sentencing, public debate reignited around the mental health system, the red flags that were missed, and whether more could have been done to intervene before Peter turned violent. The sentencing of Peter Manfredonia may have marked the legal end of his violent rampage, but for the victims' families, the community, and even those who once knew him, the aftermath was only beginning. The trauma he unleashed during those 5 days in May 2020 would ripple outward in ways that couldn't be measured by court rulings or prison terms. In Willington, where 62-year-old Ted Demers was murdered, his widow Cynthia became the unexpected face of grief and resilience. She spoke candidly to the press about Ted's kindness, how he died simply because he offered help to a stranger. Her voice, filled with both heartbreak and fury, became a rallying cry for other victims of senseless violence. "He was just doing what any decent person would do," she said in an interview. And for that, he was hacked to death. For weeks after the murder, neighbors left flowers and handwritten notes at the end of Myrtle Road, where the attack occurred.
Over 100 candles line the Willington Green, each one placed by a resident. As you can see, people are taking a moment to walk along and reflect, as well as read some of the messages left behind.
Something horrible and tragic happened, but it doesn't define us as a town.
A terrible tragedy that has had an effect on everyone in the small town of Willington.
And so to see everybody come together like this, it's very touching. I think it's very important that we did this.
The candlelight vigil provided an opportunity to heal. People have been placing candles since 8 a.m. Each candle a symbol of unity and a chance to reflect.
It was really important to do something that people can drive by with their families.
Others chose to walk by the long line of candles, reading the messages of hope. Some took a moment to share fond memories of their friend and neighbor, Ted Demers.
Ted was just the neighbor anybody would want to have. I mean, he was just a sweetheart, nice guy.
A small wooden cross was placed near the woods, a reminder of how violence had shattered the tranquility of their rural town. Community meetings were held to discuss how to support victims and improve public safety. Many residents, especially the elderly, reported heightened anxiety and fear about helping strangers. In Darby, the pain was just as deep. Nicholas Isol's family remained largely out of the spotlight, choosing to grieve in private. Those who knew Nick described him as gentle, funny, and loyal, the kind of person who avoided drama and never imagined he'd become the target of another man's obsession. A memorial scholarship was set up in his name at his former high school, with the goal of supporting students interested in mental health awareness and crisis intervention, an issue his family believed had gone tragically ignored. The University of Connecticut, where Peter had been a student, came under quiet pressure to evaluate how it supported students in crisis. Some students alleged that Peter had shown signs of deterioration on campus, erratic behavior, social withdrawal, disturbing comments, but was allowed to continue his studies without meaningful oversight. UConn officials pledged to review their mental health support systems and increase resources, though no formal fault was ever assigned to the university. Then in 2025, the case re-entered public consciousness when newly released body cam footage, 911 calls, and interrogation videos were made available. These materials, some haunting, some gut-wrenching, offered a clearer picture of just how terrified victims and first responders had been. That same year, a book titled First He Killed the Minuteman was published by author and psychologist Cynthia Herbert Brusky Adams, who corresponded with Peter after his arrest. The book explored the deeper psychological profile behind his crimes, arguing that his descent into violence was a mix of untreated trauma, isolation, and cognitive distortion. The work was met with both praise and backlash. Some believed it gave too much empathy to a killer, while others said it forced society to confront the uncomfortable question of what more could have been done before it was too late. Even behind bars, Peter Manfredonia's story continued to echo. He was serving his 55-year sentence in a Connecticut correctional facility, reportedly on suicide watch and in a specialized mental health unit. He had no chance of parole until he would be nearly 80 years old. But for the families left behind, for the mothers and fathers who buried sons, for the woman who escaped with her life, for a town that still hears the echoes of screams in the woods, no sentence would ever be long enough. The story of Peter Manfredonia is not one that fades easily from memory. It's a chilling reminder of how fast lives can be destroyed, how silent struggles can erupt into public nightmares, and how justice, even when delivered, cannot undo the harm already done. When the news first broke in May 2020, many thought it was another isolated tragedy, a man murdered on a quiet road, a suspect at large. But what unfolded over the next 6 days revealed something far more disturbing, a pattern of violence that seemed random but rooted in years of hidden suffering. As each new alert came in, another death, another crime scene, another state line crossed, the country watched a man unravel in real time. It isn't just a story of murder, it's a story of missed moments. Moments when someone could have intervened more forcefully, moments when Peter might have been placed under long-term care, moments when a system designed to protect the mentally ill, and those around them, failed to do either. But that doesn't excuse what he did. 2 men are dead. Ted Demers, a man who simply offered a stranger a ride, left behind a family, a legacy of kindness, and a wife who now speaks for him in courtrooms and interviews. Nicholas Isol, a young man trying to live his life, completely unaware that someone he once knew had become obsessed with him, was gunned down in his own home. Their stories didn't end in hospital reports or news headlines. They ended in empty chairs at dinner tables, in phone calls that will never come, in grief that never really goes away. The woman Peter abducted lives on, physically unharmed, but emotionally scarred. She became the silent witness to his final acts of desperation, surviving not through force, but through calm negotiation and willpower. She is a living reminder of just how close this story came to claiming a third life. Even years later, the communities involved continue to heal. In Willington, people are more cautious. In Derby, Nicholas's old friends still speak of him in the present tense. The shock of Peter's rampage still lingers in Newtown, a town already deeply wounded by the Sandy Hook shooting, now tied to another tragic chapter of violence and loss. Peter Manfredonia's name will forever be etched into the criminal history of Connecticut, not because he was born evil, but because he allowed his pain to become a weapon that cut down fathers, friends, and futures. In the end, what remains is silence. The kind that settles over a forest after violence erupts. The kind that hangs in a courtroom when a judge delivers a life-altering sentence. And the kind that fills the hearts of those left behind, not with peace, but with the weight of what could have been.
Apparently, we got called that she fell down the stairs, but they found her just like that.
They found her like this?
Just like that.
Right here?
Yeah.
There's obvious and a whole bunch of stuff going on with her face.
Chelsea. So what's going on? Like your entire fist is swollen like you've been punching something.
It sounds crazy, but it's like there's bad spirits and it's like that.
I'll be completely honest, guys. A lot of stuff isn't adding up right now. Respectfully.
It's March 16th, 2024. Police have arrived at the home of 30-year-old Chelsea Renee Duperon of Wayne, Michigan, acting on a report from Duperon herself that her 8-year-old daughter, Lila Cassell, had stopped breathing.
When was the last time you saw her awake and up? I got it now.
Last night she sat up a little.
I got it. What time last night? I need you to be as specific as possible.
Probably about 10-ish.
You said last night at 10?
Yeah.
You saw her awake, up? Does she have any medical conditions or anything like that? No? No special disabilities or anything like that?
Wayne is usually described as a friendly and quiet area, away from the chaos and noise of Detroit. But tonight, that could not be further from the truth. When officers enter the property, they encounter Lila, unresponsive, wearing a diaper, with her head and neck covered in. Medics would later take the girl to hospital, where, tragically, she would be pronounced dead.
Okay, but there's obvious and a whole bunch of stuff going on with her face.
She fell down the stairs.
And was that ever reported?
No.
With that severe injury, did she go to the hospital?
Excuse me?
No.
Where was she? In here? On the floor?
Yeah, she's still.
Are you okay? Mom?
Yeah.
That's what they found. What do you need?
No bed.
Oh, sorry.
Who found it? Parents or?
Apparently, parents. And well, PD came in, mowing roads are just like that.
Last night she sat
But she has an ice pack on her bed. Her face looks like this.
Who is the camera?
Me. No one touch anything, please.
I would just.
Look at her legs. She's been here for I don't even know how long.
As police began to question Chelsea Duperon, however, it's clear that something is amiss. What follows is a dark trip into the scenes of unimaginable violence, an unstable perpetrator, and one of the most unsettling cases in Michigan's criminal history. Shortly after the police enter Duperon's property on the 16th of March, they head into Lila's bedroom, where they are met with a horrific sight. The young girl is still breathing, but she's barely clinging onto life. She's unconscious, unable to move, and has sustained serious wounds across her body, primarily to her face and neck. The ambulance is called, and Lila is urgently given the medical attention she seems to have been denied. After Lila has been taken to hospital, officers move in to question Chelsea Duperon about what transpired to leave her daughter in this critical state. Duperon, whose boyfriend was living with her at the time of the incident, had told the police that Lila's injuries had been sustained from falling down the stairs 2 days ago. This is something that she would recount as officers began to question her in her living room. Specifically, she claims that Lila fell down the basement stairs shortly after 10 p.m. on the 14th of March, after she had been put to bed. For a whole 48 hours, by this account, Lila would have been lying in immense pain from her wounds.
So at 10 p.m., what was the context? Were you putting her to bed? Was she awake? Was she walking around?
I was laying in bed with her and was asking if she was okay, and I gave her water, and I just laid down in bed with her.
In her bed?
Mm-hmm.
And that was at 10 o'clock, roughly?
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking to you, she was breathing?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened after that? Did you fall asleep in there with her? Did you wake up next to her? What?
Yeah. No, I've been sleeping in there with her And then I came to sleep out here, and then I just went to check on her, and she was cold.
He's outside with, is it stepdad?
But, yeah, it's my boyfriend.
And then, what's the backstory in regards to her falling down the stairs? How long ago did that take place?
I think it was 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
It seemed like she was getting better.
So 2 days ago she fell down the basement stairs?
Mm-hmm.
She fell from the top?
Mm-hmm.
Has she been like that for 2 days?
Yeah.
What time was the last time she was like talking to you?
Yesterday.
Shortly after the questioning begins, the male officer attending the scene can be heard asking about the unusually swollen hands.
Are your hands usually that swollen, like on your arms as well? You got like, that hand is completely different size, your whole arm, like, what's going on with all that stuff?
You got to talk to them.
She is talking. Do you know something that we need to know or what? I'll be completely honest, guys. A lot of stuff isn't adding up right now, respectfully.
The police even mention that her swollen hands make it look like she has been punching something, as her boyfriend places his head in his hands and quietly sobs.
Like your entire fist is swollen like you've been punching something. You have all over your arms.
Chelsea.
Come talk to me outside, sir.
Chelsea. You gotta talk.
As police continue to prompt a silent Chelsea to open up, her body language remains reserved and awkward, only raising further suspicion as the officers continue to press her. Even more concerning is that Chelsea tells police that Lila has accused her own mother, of hitting her, although she denies these claims.
She said that what?
That I hit her, not down. She said downstairs. She said she was downstairs, and then when I came down there, I hit her.
She said that you hit her? Down the stairs?
Not down the stairs, but when we were downstairs. But it's like, I don't remember that at all. Like, I literally remember going downstairs, we were listening to music, we was going to go grocery shopping, and then, yeah, I felt like, I thought I seen a lady down there, and then all of a sudden, it was like I woke up.
Who told you that you hit her?
Lila did.
That's her, Lila, in there? How old is she?
8.
She said that you hit her? This was...
But she said your lips were black, but it was you, I think. I'm like, I don't know what it means.
Then, new signs that Chelsea may be spinning an unsettling tale for law enforcement emerge. She mentions that she thinks the house might be haunted, feigning any involvement. According to Chelsea, it was not her, or even a human, who inflicted these injuries upon her daughter that night, but an evil spirit.
What do you think caused this?
I don't know.
Now, when she said, Mom, you hit me, because you're a mom, right? Did she look like that? Did she have those bruises?
Yeah.
Already? You don't remember doing that?
Not at all.
Any drinking, any drugs?
No, I was not.
Can I talk to you?
Like, I was completely sober. I quit drinking. I was sober.
Why don't you remember what happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I honestly think this house is haunted.
Would the police buy something as far-fetched as this, or was this all over for Duperon? As the police put more pressure on Chelsea to reveal an accurate side to the story, she begins to put together a strange, fabricated version of events. Duperon starts by blaming the bad spirits in the house for her daughter's injuries and begins to discuss a lady she saw in the basement around the time the incident took place, although she is the only adult woman living in the house. She provides no explanation as to what this lady looked like or how she acted, but maintains that this happened throughout the course of the body cam footage.
When she said that you hit her, can you be more elaborate? How did she say? Did she, one smack, one punch, multiple punches?
Didn't say.
There was no specification?
Mm-mm. And it was like everything was good, so there'd be no reason for me to even hit her, and I don't whoop her or anything. So, and then we went downstairs, and all of a sudden I was like, I turned the corner, and there was a lady there, and she was all like, I don't like your music, and I was like, and then, yeah, And that makes no sense. That's why I don't like saying that.
So once you saw this face in front of you, is that when you started just punching?
No, I just don't really, I don't remember really.
And you just like blacked out. And then when was the last time you remember coming back to? From the time that she fell down the stairs and you went down there with her, you blacked out, and then when was the next thing that you remember? When what?
When Danny got home from work. Well, there was, see, I don't know.
When she first mentions these outlandish claims, the officers ask her if she had been taking anything that would impede her ability to recall the night's events. Chelsea claims that she had been on and off trying to quit drinking for a few days, but soon contradicts herself, detailing that she last had a drink only a few days ago. Her story here seems extremely muddled, and the officers continue to question her further as a result.
Is there anything that would, I guess, why you wouldn't remember? Do you suffer from anything? Do you take any drugs or alcohol or anything like that?
I mean, I drink alcohol, but I quit alcohol.
When was the last time you drank?
Well, I've been on and off trying to quit, but I quit for like a few days. He'd probably remember better than I can.
Do you remember the last time you drank something? Today's now Saturday.
The other day when I ran to Rite Aid to get a couple double shots.
Or the other day?
Or not double shots, little dollars.
The story soon becomes even more extravagant. Chelsea informs the police that not only is this lady in the basement a witch, but she was, in her opinion, responsible for inflicting Lila's injuries.
What happened when you saw this lady?
She was saying that this is her house, she's lived down there, and she's a witch. And she was like, look what I can do. And it was like, all of a sudden, yeah.
All of a sudden what?
It just, everything, I don't know. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's,
I understand that.
That
sometimes us asking these questions kind of resparks that, and it might trigger a memory that you have.
This. Like my baby's gone nuts.
I know that, dear, but we're trying to figure out what happened to your baby.
The police seem to think it's all a ruse. With Chelsea sobbing in the living room, the questioning officer quietly reports to his colleague in the next room. He exclaims that Lila did not fall down the stairs, and he doesn't believe Chelsea's story about the paranormal.
She did not fall down the stairs. She did not fall down the stairs. Made up.
Now, there is an air of impatience, perhaps even aggression, in Chelsea's tone of voice.
And I'm sure you want to figure out what happened too, so us asking these questions might trigger something that you subconsciously remember, you know what I mean?
Always that lady in the basement, and it's like, that's,
what did
she
look
said
like?
she's a witch, and that she lived here for, and that we need to get out of her house instead.
Mm-hmm. How long have you guys lived here?
I don't know, like 2 years or something. I'm not good with timelines. I don't know.
Did you burn yourself? Did somebody
No.
burn you? Because like, flip this hand over. And so you get, I mean, you got like blisters, consistent with like possibly a burn. I mean, you don't remember how you obtained these injuries? Turn your arms in back up. How long ago were these?
When I was a kid.
When you were a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this lady or this woman might have attacked you?
That's what it felt like, yeah, because...
When you came back to it, did you feel like you just got in a fight?
Yeah.
You feel like worn out and sore and like the pain from the bruises and stuff?
Yeah, my arms, yeah.
Do you have any other injuries? Any other, like elsewhere, legs or back or neck or anything like that?
My legs, I do.
What's on your legs?
Just, I woke up with them actually a few days before that. On my knees, I had...
Okay. This was a few days before you saw the lady?
Yes. Like someone prayed on me and told me I was cursed.
At this point, the officer also asks Chelsea why Lila was wearing a diaper when she was discovered.
What's the situation with her wearing a diaper?
Well, because her back hurts, so she didn't want to get up, so I got her diapers.
How long has that been going on?
Just like a day or two ago. Or maybe yesterday, actually.
Was she able to move? Was she able to get up?
She did. She sat up once, but she didn't. She wasn't able to like get up and move around.
So she hasn't been able to get out of bed in 2 days? Like since the whole basement?
Yeah, she's been staying in bed.
Duperon seems to be running out of options now. As the police close in even more, it seems as though there is nowhere left for her to turn. In the footage, it becomes clear that the officers are planning to make an arrest.
I just take pictures of your arms, okay? Can you just light it up a little?
That's a burn I had too. It's just swollenness.
Which one's a burn?
Right there. Just like I have burn. These are burn marks.
From work?
Yeah.
You have on your legs as well? Are you able to show them without exposing yourself?
What are these from?
I woke up with these before that happened.
Before what happened?
Before the whole incident.
As the footage comes to a close, Chelsea maintains her story that Lila sustained her injuries after falling down the stairs. With no further mention of the mysterious paranormal activity, it seems as though Duperon had spun an impossible story here, and it certainly isn't adding up. Unfazed, the officers finish their questioning and proceed to an arrest.
So she wasn't able to move really that much because she fell down the stairs?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we established the falling down the stairs didn't happen.
Or I mean, yeah, because of what happened downstairs or whatever. Like I don't know. She looked like she fell down the stairs. But I know what it looks like. But I would not do that to her.
When the police took Chelsea Duperon to the station, she would be charged with first-degree murder and child. The bizarre story she unraveled to officers that night was upheld far into her not guilty plea, and it seems that Duperon truly believed evil spirits were to blame for her daughter's killing. The evidence, however, was overwhelming. Chelsea had brutally beaten her daughter to death, and while Lila remained unconscious, she had made trips to purchase liquor and diapers. Lila was reportedly unrecognizable from her injuries at the time police discovered her. Tragically, they believed that if she was taken to hospital on the day of the assault, she would have survived. There was no witch, and there were no spirits, and Duperon eventually changed her plea to guilty when the evidence was so obviously stacked against her. The judge sentencing Duperon told the convicted murderer that Lila suffered something more than falling down the stairs.
She had significant swelling from the crown of her head to the soles of her feet and everything in between. Multiple wounds to her face, to her head. Certainly something more than falling down the stairs. She was brutally attacked by the individual that was supposed to love her, to nurture her, to care for her, to protect her, and to guard her against any and everything.
At her sentencing hearing, Duperon did not apologize for her actions. She was ultimately sentenced to up to 50 years in prison in July 2025 for her crimes. She will need to serve at least 28 years before she can be considered eligible for parole.
But Lila should be remembered as the well-behaved, fun-loving, innocent, light-of-the-world, bubbly girl that she was, and not for anything else. And so this court believes that Lila is now in a place where she is loved for, where she is cared for, and where no one else will have the opportunity to fail her.
You say it happened. There's no explanation for it. This is really happening right now, right?
This man has received the worst news of his life. His family was at a party venue when the crash left everyone in a state of panic and confusion.
You may need oxygen.
Firefighters are coming right over here. They're on their way.
Take care of the baby first.
Yeah.
Take care of the baby first. Check the car.
Which one?
Right there.
But one woman seemed to be unbothered.
Man, can you come with me just for a second? Are you driving? You driving the car? Can you come with me just for a second? Okay.
Yes, I
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
Where everyone else was screaming or crying, she was laughing about the whole thing. Kirsten Sigler was celebrating her 3-year-old son's birthday party at the Swan Boat Club when what followed was chaos.
Is that on the other side? Yep.
Among all the chaos, one person was sitting calmly, and it was none other than the driver responsible for the carnage. A witness pointed her out to the officers, and she was soon escorted out. Besides needing help walking, the woman claimed that she had passed out, both telltale signs of being drunk.
What happened?
I passed out.
Okay. Have you been feeling ill or anything like that?
Yes.
But officers didn't confront her about it immediately, and instead started with less consequential questions.
Were you here for the party?
No.
What were you out here at the boat club for? Are you a member?
I was just coming down here.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Then they got to the main point.
Have you been drinking it all today?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. When's the last time you had something to drink?
Probably half an hour ago.
Half an hour ago? What did you drink?
Wine.
Wine? Okay. Have it. What's your name, hon?
Marcella admitted to drinking 30 minutes before getting behind the wheel, but this was just the tip of a much deeper iceberg. Officers would uncover disturbing patterns of lies and neglect that led up to the tragic moment.
She went to lunch with some friends. I'm sure she drinks her wine. She drinks every day.
She like no alcoholic?
Pretty much.
Okay. Has this been a problem then?
For a couple years.
But before officers learned any of this, they had to witness the aftermath of the crash, which got grimmer by the second.
You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
No.
All right, I'm just going to leave you back here just for a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you need to see any medical attention right now?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm going to roll down this window over here just to get you some air, okay?
Is anybody in there?
In here? I don't know. Is anybody in here? I don't think that.
Okay.
At first it appeared like there were no victims, but then they heard screams of a woman who had been pinned by the vehicle.
Is that on the other side? Yep.
While medics and officers were trying to save lives inside, Marcella was being questioned outside.
So what happened today? Where were you at today?
I went to lunch with some friends.
Okay, about what time was that?
Noonish.
Okay, so around noon you went to lunch. Do you remember what you ate?
Yep. I had some chili and a fish sandwich.
A fish sandwich? Okay. Where was that at?
At Vernus.
At Verna's. What'd you drink there? Did you drink water, pop? Anything?
I had a glass of wine.
Just one glass of wine?
Yep.
Okay. What do you do when you get home?
I just came home and just kind of chilled out and was waiting for my husband to get up and take a nap.
Okay. Did you drink anything else there? Did you take any medication?
No, I didn't even get a drink down here because I never made it this far.
Okay.
Not only did she admit to drinking, but she also laughed about it. This wouldn't be the only time Marcella would laugh things off.
What type of wine?
Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. Okay. Is that your normal Chardonnay? The fruity, nutty.
Yeah.
Besides cracking up in the interrogation room, Marcella also laughed during a televised interview.
I have a perfect record. I don't even have a parking ticket. I don't have any kind of DUI or speeding ticket.
During the same interview, she offered her explanation for the crash.
I think I had a seizure. I think that the same thing that my husband said that I did when I have a seizure is just go straight. And I think when I got in the car, that's what happened. I just had the seizure and probably put my foot on the accelerator and crashed into the building.
Marcella's claim that she had a seizure behind the wheel came much later. During the initial interrogation, she had admitted to drinking wine. The officer decided to put that claim to the test.
Michigan law requires that you submit to a preliminary breath analysis upon request of a peace officer. Your refusal to submit as requested shall result in you being charged with a civil infraction with a penalty of up to a $100 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, if you have one glass of wine, it's going to be really low, okay?
Okay.
So just go ahead and blow like you're blowing a balloon, okay? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you.
She had also admitted that she couldn't be trusted behind the wheel. All of this was before the seizure story, which would later become a key part of her defense. But during her initial questioning, her story was more consistent with someone who had blacked out while driving.
Do you remember what happened when you were going around here?
No, not really. I pulled into the parking lot and I thought I was driving up to the boat club, and evidently I was driving right into the pavilion.
When you got to the parking lot, what happened?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
The breathalyzer test had already alerted the officers to Marcella's lies. Her blood alcohol was much higher than it would be if she had just one glass of wine. If Marcella could lie about that, what else could she lie about? The officers would find out by talking to her husband.
When's the last time you've seen her?
This morning, just as I went and had lunch and she came here.
Were you supposed to meet her?
Yeah, I was coming down here.
Okay.
Marcella's husband could not help but tear up at the scene in front of him.
Do you have any questions for me at all, Don? No? Okay.
Victims had been pulled out of the rubble and were on their way to the hospital. It was unclear if they would survive. Marcella's husband was in tears and left without even seeing her. Meanwhile, Marcella was in the cop car asking about her husband.
Yep, I talked to him. Yep. I made sure to let him know that you're okay. He said he's glad that you're okay.
Meanwhile, people at the scene were getting updates of their own, and they were a lot more grim. Brian Phillips learned that his wife, Mariah, was at the hospital as Marcella's car had crashed directly into her table. Also on the table were Mariah's 3 children, one of whom passed away on the scene. Realizing that he had lost his daughter and could lose the rest of his family too, Brian broke down. He would later describe his experience in court.
So I was getting calls from my phone constantly, from people I haven't met in years, family members. I felt in my stomach something was very wrong. I knew that there was something that wasn't right. There was people from over 20 years that I haven't talked to, 10 years, my family. My brother finally got a hold of me and told me there was an accident at the boat club regarding my kids. I felt it in my stomach that something was wrong. I didn't know at there. He wouldn't tell me. No one would tell me what was wrong. People kept writing me, get to this boat club, get to this boat club. When I ended up finally getting a hold of my brother and getting a ride there, I made it to the boat club. When I made it to the boat club, a lot of cops came up to me, rushing me, telling me that was I the father. I didn't even want to talk to any cops. I didn't want to see any cops. I just wanted to talk to my brother. I wanted to find out what happened. When I got to the crime scene, it was so hectic that it was chaos. I was seeing cars everywhere. I was seeing people everywhere. I finally went to my brother, and I dropped straight to the ground. I started screaming because I knew they was gone. I felt they was gone. I knew in my heart they was gone. So I told them not to tell me. I begged them not to tell me. But they had to find out I was the dad of all 3 of them, and I told them their names, their ages, and what was I to them. Before I even registered it was gone, they told me that Jaden, my oldest, was airlifted to the University of Michigan.
In the end, Brian lost 2 of his children, while his wife and remaining son made a full recovery. As for Marcella, she was held overnight and formally questioned the next day.
When you were done at Vernus, where did you go to?
Went to the boat club.
Straight to the boat club.
Mm-hmm.
The detective had already caught her in a lie and decided to let her know.
So we know you're at Vernus at 12:10, and then you say you go to the boat club, right to the boat club.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not exactly accurate, because I have surveillance footage of you at the boat club at 3 o'clock.
Okay, that could be.
Okay, so that's why I'm trying to get a full account of the time. Mm-hmm. So from 12:10 We didn't go directly to the boat club. We went home. Did we go to the store? Did we go to a friend's house? What did we do during that time?
I don't know.
Marcella was trying to gloss over the time in between because she had spent it consuming more alcohol at her home. A camera in Marcella's kitchen ran an hour late and showed her drinking as early as 10:24 a.m. Then at 10:45 a.m., it showed her bringing the empty bottle back into the kitchen. The camera also captured the moment she returned from lunch at Verna's, where she claimed to have 1 glass of wine. She told officers that she did not have a drink at home, yet the camera showed her with a glass full of wine at 2:10 p.m. She even had another fill. A street view camera captured what happened next. Marcella walked out of the house, visibly drowsy, and got into her car. She crashed into the neighbor's vehicle while trying to pull out of her driveway and then drove off to the boat club. Crash that followed was picked up from different angles.
Surveillance video capturing the SUV heading toward the building before it crashed into a birthday party going inside.
Marcella eventually accepted that she went home after lunch, but she did not own up to any additional alcohol consumption.
I may have stopped home just to check on my husband to see what he was up to. So I could have stopped at home. I wouldn't be there for very long.
And if you stopped home, would it be common that you had another glass of wine?
I don't believe so, no.
No? Okay.
The detective realized that Marcella wasn't going to admit to excessive drinking, but he already had her breathalyzer and blood test results. What he needed now was for Marcella to admit that her car didn't crash because of a mechanical issue.
Have you had any recent mechanics work done to your Ford Edge?
No. No, it's been a pretty reliable car, actually.
So, any trouble? I mean, are you the type of person that when there's something wrong with it, you take it right to the mechanic? So you haven't had any mechanical issues?
No, I've had a recall on it, but that's it.
Okay.
After getting her to admit that her car did not have any issues, the detective went back to Marcella's alcoholism, and this time he was a lot more blunt.
It's really important, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do this.
Sure.
Okay. We know that you weren't drinking alcohol-free wine.
That's correct.
Okay. You had a little much. Would you agree?
Again, I don't remember.
Marcella was careful not to incriminate herself and brought up her seizures once again.
So, we know that you had a little much.
Okay.
Okay. And, you crashed into the building, right?
I know.
Do you know what happened?
I do not know. Everything just went blank.
In a strange twist, Marcella claimed that she had her second drink at the club where she had crashed her vehicle.
How much did you have?
Again, I just had 1 glass at Verna's.
Do you drink hard liquor?
No.
So 1 glass at Verna's?
Yes, and I might have had a glass at the boat club.
When at the boat club?
When I went there after Verna's.
With one officer exhausted, another tapped in to explain to Marcella that she couldn't be having a drink at the club she had crashed her car into.
What Sergeant Hooper is saying here is that when we got the video, like we said, you didn't park and go in and then go back to your car and then drive into the building. Okay, you come down from where your house is, going very fast, and you just drove right into the building.
See, I don't remember any of that.
With a chuckle, Marcella leaned back on convenient memory loss to avoid owning up to her excessive alcohol consumption. The officer returned to her blood alcohol reading and confronted her with how many glasses it would take to reach that level.
You're a 2-1, a .21. Okay, and 1 glass of wine does not do that. 2 glasses of wine doesn't do that. 3 glasses of wine doesn't do that. 4 glasses of wine doesn't do that.
Yeah, that surprises me.
5 glasses of wine doesn't do that. 6 glasses of wine doesn't do that. Okay? And even given your body type and, other things, I'll give you, probably 7 or 8 could get you there.
But would Marcella own up to drinking 8 glasses of wine? Would she tell the truth?
I want the truth from you, Marcella. I want the whole truth, okay? Because right now we're sitting here and I need the truth from you.
Marcella wasn't ready to admit that she had a problem.
Can you sit there and tell me that? I see you're getting a little emotional. I apologize.
Well, I think
I have to ask these hard questions, and you need to look into yourself.
Right.
And answer this truthfully.
Right. And I would say I drank considerably more when I was not drinking the free. But since I started drinking the free, I'm not drinking nearly as much.
We talk to people. Mm-hmm. And when we asked them about Marcella, what do you think they said?
Probably I used to be a pretty heavy drinker.
Try again.
Pardon?
Try again.
That I'm a heavy drinker?
Yes. That you're an alcoholic.
Okay.
Regardless, the officer gave it one more shot, hoping that she would take accountability.
You need to look and hear right now.
Okay.
Because this is the time, Marcella. This is the time. Okay, where you need to dig deep. Do you have a problem? And you need to be honest. Do you have a problem? Are you an alcoholic? How many glasses of wine did you have yesterday? Because it was excessive.
It was clear that Marcella wasn't going to admit fault, so the interrogation was wrapped up, and she was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, alongside 2 counts of operating a vehicle while intoxicated, causing death, and 5 counts related to causing serious injuries. Chittister pleaded not guilty and walked out on bail, which infuriated the community.
Marcella Chidester, the woman charged in the death of 2 children and injuring others after crashing her car into the building, was released after posting bond. A judge set Chidester's bond at $1.5 million. It's not clear how much was posted when she did get out.
During her time outside, she gave an interview where she refused to take any responsibility for the crash.
I would never, ever do anything intentional. Never. I mean, that's just not me. And especially to a boat club that I love so much, and I have family and friends there.
The fact that she was even more concerned about the damage to the boat club than the lives lost in the crash made her look bad, which begged the question, why give an interview at all?
Why did you decide to sit down with us?
I wanted to just let people know, that I'm so very, very disturbed about the situation, and I don't remember what happened. I can only say that I've been praying for everyone that's been injured.
But her fate would be decided in court, where her lawyer argued that Marcella had no intention to kill anyone.
What this case is about was there an intent to kill somebody? Was there an intent to be reckless?
He also insisted that she had a seizure while driving.
I think the proofs will show that when she has a seizure, documented, her feet go down, like real hard, the proofs will show, and her hands too. And then after less than a minute, the proofs will show that it relaxes again and you're a little bit spaced out.
But the prosecution had a ton of evidence to make a case for drunk driving. They presented receipts showing alcohol purchases, mentioning Marcella by name, collections of empty wine bottles found at the Chidester home. Marcella's lawyer tried to claim that her medication might have affected her blood alcohol results.
Is there a way that acetone can affect the ethanol reading?
No, because our instruments are very specific with the alcohols, and so the column's job is to separate those compounds out so that the ethanol reading is ethanol, the acetone reading is acetone.
The prosecution's strongest piece of evidence was CCTV footage from inside the Chidester home, showing her having 2 glasses of wine before stumbling out of her home and getting into her car. This was undeniable proof that Chidester had been drinking right up until she left for the club, so the jury did not take very long to come back with its verdict.
You've been found guilty by a jury of your peers, 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of operating under the influence and causing death, and 5 counts of operating under the influence causing serious bodily injury.
But the highlight of the trial was when Marcella's lawyer got a chance to cross-question the victim's mother.
I lost my son. Please, and every time I work on your case, I think you. I think you're a joke. I'm going to keep the sympathy.
Instead of asking questions to poke holes in her story or make Marcella look better, her lawyer, who had lost his own son, simply offered his sympathies to the grieving mother. This seemed to rub Chittister the wrong way, as she fired her lawyer and hired a new one in time for her sentencing. So not only did Marcella laugh about the whole thing, refuse to take accountability, and choose to drag things out in court, but she also fired her lawyer for showing sympathy towards the grieving mother. All of this infuriated the victim's parents, who took the stand to request the maximum possible sentence for her.
I thank you, Judge, from the bottom of my heart for letting me tell my statement. And I promise I don't wish nothing but the worst for you. And I hope that you feel what we feel every day. Because it's hard. It's hard even to wake up knowing that they're not here. It's hard that their older brother has to be without his brother and sister. And I hope every day that you realize what you took it from us.
She did not only kill one of my children, she also killed two. She injured my only living child severely, as well as myself. She injured some of my family members, as well as other people that were there that day, physically, mentally, and emotionally. My wounds were poked at while I was on stand, and it took everything in me to remain calm and professional. I beg and I plead for her to be sentenced to life in prison with no parole. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Marcella also got her chance to speak, and she finally teared up.
I've been thinking about what I was going to say to you for over a year. It was a terrible, terrible tragedy. I can't help it. Say I'm so very, very sorry for the loss of your children. I pray for them every day, and I would ask that their father would also forgive me, as well as people that were injured. I never meant to harm those children or anyone that was involved in the accident. And the only thing that I can say is, I'm so very sorry, and I never, ever meant to come across as not being sorrowful. I've asked the Lord to forgive me, and I ask that you at least look into your heart, and at some point you can possibly forgive me. I would appreciate that so much.
Then it was time for Judge Daniel White to announce Marcella's sentence.
On counts 1 and 2, which are the second-degree murder charges, you're to serve 25 years to 50 years. Michigan Department of Corrections credits 76 days. 130 crime victims' rights, 136 state costs. All these counts will be concurrent with each other.
I gave him to God.
You gave him to God?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I threw him in the lake, and I gave him to God.
Ma'am, can you explain to me what happened? Who did you throw in the water?
I gave my son to God.
Your son?
Yes.
It's the early morning of August 23rd at Atwood Lake, Ohio. Around 8 a.m. when deputies arrive. A golf cart sits fully submerged near the dock, headlights still glowing under the water. Beside it, an Amish mother, drenched, barefoot, and whispering scripture. She tells deputies her son is with God, and her husband is still proving his faith somewhere beneath the surface.
You're actually supposed to go look for him in the bottom of the lake. And you will find the fish, and you will find my husband, and then you will believe.
What started as a family's quiet retreat has turned into something biblical, a test of belief, obedience, and death. Within hours, divers recover 2 bodies, Marcus Miller, 45, and 4-year-old Vincent, his son. Both drowned, both offered, she said, as proof of devotion. To the police, it's a murder driven by madness. To Ruth Miller, it was a command from heaven. But what if both are true? And how do you prosecute faith when faith itself pulled the trigger? August 23, 2025. The horror actually began at 1:15 a.m. at Atwood Lake Campground. Ruth and Marcus Miller walked to the dock together in darkness, their 3 older children watching from the RV. They entered the water, attempting to prove their faith through some kind of spiritual test. Both submerged themselves completely, then returned to shore. Hours later, around 6:30 a.m., Marcus went back to the lake alone. A witness would later report seeing him at the dock. He swam toward a sandbar and never returned. By 8 a.m., Ruth drove her youngest son, Vincent, in a golf cart. Erratically, desperately, she threw him into the water near the dock. Minutes later, she crashed the cart into a stone wall on the shore, the vehicle plunging fully underwater with her 3 older children inside. They scrambled onto the submerged cart and escaped. Campers heard screaming. They spotted the wreckage, and Ruth, drenched and trembling, repeating the same phrase, "I gave him to God."
We're out with the mother. She is advising that she threw her 4-year-old son in the lake to give him to God.
And people are going to tell me I am crazy, but he is real. And he loves you. He really does love you. He loves you. And I doubted him. I doubted him so many times. But I am to tell you, he is coming soon. He is coming very soon. Prepare your hearts. The end is close. And I'm for sure supposed to tell you that he does love you. Okay?
Where's your husband?
He went for a walk this morning.
And you haven't seen him
He
since?
didn't ever come back. And we went to the boat and his clothes were there. And God told me he's in the lake and a fish swallowed him. And you're actually supposed to go look for him in the bottom of the lake. And you will find the fish. And you will find my husband. And then you will believe. But ye of your little faith that did not believe before seeing.
Okay.
So send people down to the bottom of the lake looking for a fish. That has my husband.
How old's your son that's in the lake?
4. He's sweet. I love him. I gave him to her.
Okay.
At 6:03 p.m. that day, divers recover Vincent's body, not far from the end of the dock.
I need to know where your husband's at.
He's at the bottom of the lake in a fish.
He's in a fish.
Yes.
There's no fish large enough on an Atwood to swallow your husband.
He's at the bottom of the lake in a fish.
Okay.
I thought your husband went for a walk.
Yeah, and then we came to the boat, and his clothes were laying in the boat.
Okay.
Tan
Yeah.
pants and cream shirt and flip-flops.
Do you have a cell phone?
It's in the camper.
It's in the camper. Where's your camper at?
I think it's
Area 3?
I think so. Yeah.
'Cause we really need to verify your husband's still
Yeah.
with us.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Well, he's actually just go out in the bottom of the lake.
Well, I can't go in the bottom of the lake. So
Do
if
you
we
have
need,
scuba divers?
yeah, we're gonna have to call divers in to go to the
Okay.
bottom of the lake.
Please do.
And you're saying
Get the best ones there are, because this is a miracle from God. You will see. You will see.
The next morning at 8:29 a.m., Marcus's body is found 53 yards away. He had drowned, attempting to swim to the sandbar.
We're right now we're gonna walk up to the squad, okay? That's what we're going to do. We're gonna put you in the back of the squad.
You will find my husband.
Okay, but you're gonna sit down in the back of the squad for us, okay?
Can I actually just sit with my children? Yeah. And have water?
Yeah, we can bring your children over.
Bring my
That's
children
okay.
over.
As the officers lead Ruth to a squad car, she turns once more toward the water and smiles.
It won't hurt you. Please trust me. Okay. It won't hurt you. Okay. It won't hurt you. You're fine. You're fine. Okay. You're fine. God, please show this woman that it is true. But I'm telling you, people are doubting. They are putting harder for me to stay strong. Please show her that it is true what I'm telling you. That there is a fish at the bottom of the lake. Please let her take me to sit with my children under the tree that you have created. Please, Lord. Hey, listen.
You guys just want to bring her over to that one?
And these we doubted too, but they are true. They are. It's amazing. We can't tell you enough. Do you remember when Jesus was on the cross?
Yeah, I remember.
And he put his arms out and he said, "Forgive them, for they know not
what they do." Yeah, you told me that already.
Yes. They didn't know. They didn't know.
Yeah, right.
You are to trust. It's all about trust.
To some, this is a crime scene. To Ruth Miller, it was a baptism by faith. Within hours of the recovery, detectives begin what would become one of Ohio's strangest homicide investigations.
A lot of people very emotionally affected to the point that they didn't know what to say. Honestly, she flipped the golf cart into the lake, but it wasn't deep enough. The kids immediately got up. They were teenagers. They got up, stood on top of it. They were in no harm's way. It was traumatic for them, but physically they were fine. The lady started making concerning statements that it was intentional, and we later learned that there was a 4-year-old that was missing, and also the woman's husband. There was information given to us, and while I won't go into detail, that they believed they were, speaking with God and getting missions from God, and that this gentleman went on a mission himself, as he was told.
The mother they've just arrested isn't violent, isn't frantic, she's serene. And that, investigators say, is the most chilling part. She doesn't ask for a lawyer. She doesn't ask for her children. She tells them she wanted her son swallowed by a fish like Jonah, a biblical reference that would haunt investigators. Inside the interview room, deputies record everything. Ruth quotes Bible verses between answers, mixing the language of the gospel with fragments of prophecy. She tells officers, "The end is close, prepare your heart." And, "He is coming soon, he's coming very soon."
It's been one of the most difficult cases placing the statements together, and I want to word this carefully because I don't believe the mother's ever lied to us. But the statements not made sense a lot. And then in a second interview, it made a little more sense, and then when we were able to add pieces from the 3 children, we were able to kind of paint a picture. But she's been relatively truthful with us, and she has indicated every time she's been spoken to that she put the 4-year-old in the water to give to God. Now, in her statement, what she says is that she and her husband went to this dock and they jumped in the water because God was speaking to them and telling them to do things. Things to prove their worthiness to God, to show their faith as complete, and they didn't do very well in those. Some of them were bizarre, some of them were just swimming exercises. The most bizarre was that God told her to allow herself to be swallowed by a fish.
She insists her husband Marcus wasn't dead, only reborn beneath the lake. When shown photographs of his recovered body, she turns away, whispers, "That's not him anymore." Detectives trace the family's past through their Amish community in Millersburg, Ohio. Neighbors recall the couple's sudden withdrawal, their obsession with end-time sermons, and Ruth's claim that she'd begun hearing the voice of the Lord, commanding her to test her faith.
The family will tell you that, in their own statement, but we're aware of some issues with especially the mother, but also the father, but there were never any discussions of harming anyone. They had some religious beliefs. What we recognize is this: she was clearly in mental crisis, no doubt about it. You talk to every witness or every first responder, she was in mental crisis, and it just simply manifests itself in what we call a spiritual delusion. I got to speak with the grandparents, and I've developed a relationship with the father's brother. They couldn't be nicer people.
3 days before the drownings, she told a friend, "He's coming soon. We must prove we believe." No one thought she meant this. When the coroner's report confirms drowning, prosecutors prepare an indictment. On September 6th, a grand jury indicts Ruth on 7 charges.
In this case,
the grand jury returned an indictment that consists of 7 counts. I'm going to read through those. Count 1 of the indictment is the offense of aggravated murder. It is what's called an unclassified felony. Count 2, murder. It's also an unclassified felony. The grand jury again concluded that there was probable cause to believe that you, the defendant in this matter, on or about August the 23rd of 2025, unlawfully did cause the death of child victim 1, count 3. It's an offense known as felonious assault. It's a felony of the 2nd degree. Again, the grand jury concluded that there was probable cause to believe that you, the defendant, on or about August the 23rd of 2025, unlawfully did knowingly cause serious physical harm to child victim 1.
1 count aggravated murder, 1 count murder, 1 count felonious assault, 3 counts domestic violence, and 1 count child endangering. Psychiatrists are brought in. They describe a woman trapped in a world where faith and delusion have merged, where obedience to God outweighs the laws of man. They diagnose her with religious psychosis, a form of schizophrenia often triggered by isolation and fanaticism. But prosecutors see something else: planning. She waited until dawn. She calmed the children with prayer. She spoke of sacrifice days before the act. That's not confusion, they argue. That's intention. The question dividing the courthouse becomes the same one haunting every observer's mind. Was Ruth Miller obeying God, or was she hiding behind him? And as her case moves forward, the courtroom prepares to witness a battle between scripture and sanity, where the difference between devotion and delusion might decide a mother's fate. Doctors who later examined her say these were the early signs of a religious psychosis, a dangerous condition where spiritual belief mutates into hallucination. They call it messianic delusion, the belief that God speaks only to you, and that obedience can justify anything. In her mind, she wasn't a killer, she was a servant. Her son's death wasn't murder, it was offering. The golf cart wasn't a vehicle, it was an altar. Psychiatrists say Ruth lived inside a world stitched together by guilt, prophecy, and grief. To her, the voice of God was louder than the cries of her own child. Her surviving children would later tell detectives their mother prayed for days that the Lord would show them who's ready.
As you can imagine, the kids were extremely confused. I can tell you their mindset was that whatever their mother and father says is the way it is. They don't question anything, so when they were told to jump in a lake, they jump in a lake. And that, as a parent of great kids, that's still difficult for me to imagine. I just can't imagine my kids not questioning me, but that's how they're raised, and when you meet them, you can immediately identify that's how they operate. They would try to give us information, but couldn't stop crying. They kept focusing on the fact that they were praying for their dad and little brother. And it was tough to get the information from them because much of what they were given us, they were only told by their mother. So they took it as truth. And then when we would separate, listen, were you told that or did you see it? We got, we got a little further.
When the youngest, Vincent, said he wasn't afraid of water, she took it as a sign. And that single sentence sealed his fate. By the time of her arrest, Ruth had stopped referring to herself in the present tense. To officers, she said, Ruth was just a body, God was the one driving. But in the eyes of the law, that body still has to answer, and no voice, divine or delusional, can take her place in court. When Ruth Miller entered the Tuscarawas County Courthouse for the first time, the silence in the room was heavier than the crime itself. She wasn't in orange jumpsuit chains. She was in plain Amish dress, eyes blank, Bible clutched to her chest like a shield. Reporters whispered the same 2 words over and over: insanity plea. On September 8, 2025, her attorney Ian Friedman entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity on all 7 charges.
Your attorneys earlier had filed on your behalf, as required by law, if someone intends to do this, a notice of the defendant's plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. I'm going to turn to Attorney Friedman just to confirm that's in fact the plea that should be entered in this case.
That is in fact the plea that we are entering by right at this time.
Okay, and that's what will be done. I will enter a plea then on your behalf of not guilty by reason of insanity.
The phrase echoed through the courtroom, a legal paradox in 6 words. Not guilty, yet responsible for the unthinkable. Prosecutors sat motionless. They'd heard her statements, seen her body cam footage, and read every word of her notes. Their argument was simple. Faith doesn't drown children. People do. The state of Ohio charged Ruth Miller with aggravated murder of her 4-year-old son, Vincent, 1 count murder, 1 count felonious assault, 3 counts domestic violence, 1 count child endangering. On September 29th, Judge Michael J. Ernest denied bail, determining she posed a continuing danger. Inside, the defense began building what they called a spiritual insanity case.
But as of right now, you're going to be remanded back to the jail where you will be held until we have the essentially what we call a no bail hearing. And from there, I'll be able to set forth specific orders as to what the bail is or isn't going to be in this case.
Attorney Ian Friedman stated it was immediately evident Ruth was experiencing a severe mental health crisis that prevented her from understanding the wrongfulness of her actions.
We entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity today because based upon the facts of this case, it's very evident that it is fitting. This case would not have happened but for a mental defect that would have prevented Ms. Miller from appreciating the wrongfulness of her conduct. Well, there clearly was a serious mental disease that she faced. It was evident to the responding officers, the first responders, and unfortunately it was a tragedy that happened that day. Again, clearly would not have happened but for.
They brought in psychiatrists, religious scholars, even neurology experts. They claimed Ruth's brain had fractured under years of isolation and pressure. She wasn't evil, they said. She was sick. But the prosecution wasn't buying it. They called the case premeditated. They referenced her notes and statements about water, cleansing, and divine selection made days before the drownings. To them, that was a plan, not a psychotic episode. Despite any mental health issues, her actions that day showed planning and intent. As of late 2025, Ruth Miller remains in Tuscarawas County Jail, awaiting trial. The case is still in pre-trial proceedings. The question dividing the courthouse remains, was Ruth Miller obeying God, or was she hiding behind him? Marcus Miller's death has been ruled an accidental drowning. Authorities believe he was attempting to prove his faith by swimming to a sandbar when he drowned. But for 4-year-old Vincent, the law will decide whether his death was murder or the tragic result of his mother's fractured mind. As of November 2025, Ruth Miller remains in Tuscarawas County Jail, awaiting trial. Her 3 surviving children, twin 18-year-old sons and a 15-year-old daughter, were placed with family members after the incident. The case has drawn national attention, raising questions about mental health crises, religious delusion, and the limits of faith. Her attorney maintains that Ruth was experiencing a severe mental health crisis that prevented her from understanding the wrongfulness of her actions. Prosecutors maintain that despite any mental health issues, her actions that day showed planning and intent. Marcus Miller's death has been ruled an accidental drowning. Authorities believe he was attempting to prove his faith by swimming to a sandbar when he drowned. But for 4-year-old Vincent, the law will decide whether his death was murder or the tragic result of his mother's fractured mind. The trial date has not yet been set. If convicted, Ruth Miller faces life in prison. They say faith can move mountains, but sometimes it drowns you in silence. At Atwood Lake, Ruth Miller didn't see murder. She saw obedience. She didn't see death. She saw deliverance. And that's what makes this story impossible to forget. Because belief, in its purest form, is supposed to save. Yet here, it destroyed everything it touched. The courtroom awaits a verdict. The cameras remain focused. But somewhere in that county jail, Ruth still kneels before a window every dawn, whispering to a God she swears once spoke back. And maybe he did. Or maybe the only voice she ever heard was her own. The surviving children will grow up with questions no sermon can answer. Why them? Why there? Why water? And maybe that's the hardest truth of all. Sometimes evil doesn't wear horns, it wears faith. If you believe in something long enough, you can make it real, even if it kills you.
Oh, did you jump out? What's all this stuff for? The shovel? Work. Where you work?
I want you to kiss my and suck my, but that ain't happening. It's not gonna happen. We're going back. There was something so tranquil and peaceful about her face when I looked down at her.
A woman went missing following a string of domestic disturbances. The killer honestly believed he was able to deceive the police and the FBI, but he left so many clues that would eventually come to light. On January 3rd, 2018, in Edina, Minnesota, officers responded to a domestic disturbance at the condo of 27-year-old Christina Proden and 26-year-old Joseph Porter, who was Proden's boyfriend. Though he calmed down and the responding officers left, law enforcement were contacted again 5 hours later, following yet another argument. Porter was pulled over on January 4th at 8:30 p.m. by the Missouri Highway Patrol, unaware that this seemingly minor traffic violation would be the first of many vital clues in a much bigger case.
Hey, man. Want me to get paperwork? Oh, yeah, sure. How long were you up there?
I was up there for 5 months.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you just went up there to buy it.
I would not go up there to buy it for $300 cost.
After the patrolman pulled Porter over for an expired license, he was quick to notice a shovel and axe in the vehicle. The man claimed that they were work tools. Unbeknownst to the officer, they were evidence of a horrendous crime, and that the victim was very close by.
So what were you doing up there for 5 months? Working?
Yeah.
What are you going to do if you crash?
I got a lot of tools.
You got some. You ever been arrested for anything?
Yes, sir. I was arrested when I was 18 for second-degree battery, use of a deadly weapon other than a firearm. I got in a fight with somebody who was a lot bigger than me.
Yeah.
And then I got arrested when I was 20 with another individual for possession of a stolen vehicle.
Yeah, if you smash into somebody, you don't have insurance, obviously. Ain't gonna be a good thing, because, you know, it's expensive if you don't have anything to help you out, okay?
All right.
So make sure you're being super cautious.
Thank you.
Have a safe night, all right?
You too.
The officer let Porter go, unaware that Proden's lifeless body was likely inside the vehicle, hidden from sight. But her disappearance would not go unnoticed for long. The next day, the missing woman's mother, Livia Proden, contacted the police and informed them that she had not heard from her daughter in 2 days. Officers searched Proden's condo. Inside her room was a mess, as if someone tried to pack in a hurry. There was a suitcase filled with money and Proden's ID, alongside a Walmart receipt. CCTV footage revealed that the pair purchased groceries together recently. Investigators then made a chilling discovery. Bloody handprints and smears on the closet door, and the bed. Proden was last active around 4 a.m. on January 4th, which was only hours after the police visited them. Strangely, Porter's service was disconnected on January 3rd. After an interview, he was initially cleared as a suspect. When the FBI joined in on the investigation, an unexpected breakthrough occurred on January 9th, when Proden's phone pinged near a Walmart in Cabot, Arkansas. He was spotted returning an item at customer service before leaving with another man. The second person, later identified as his husband, Richard Crawford, had turned on Proden's phone in order to sell it via an eco ATM machine in an area without CCTV, hence why it pinged. Investigators reviewed the parking lot CCTV footage and saw that the duo did not leave in Porter's Honda Accord, but a silver Pontiac G6. This was later confirmed to be a stolen vehicle. Law enforcement tracked it down to a trailer where the men were staying, and they were both taken into custody. Officers found a jewelry box, a pickaxe, and Proden's keys in the car. Near the trailer were some gas cans, perfect for storing fuel for filling up vehicles or for starting a fire. Would either man be willing to explain what was going on?
How long has Joseph stayed with you?
He moved there with me in December. We moved from California there. He left January 8th of 2017.
So a year. I mean, right at 1 year.
Right.
A year and a month.
Right. Well, let's see, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. He was there 6 months with me.
What's your relationship with Joseph?
We were married.
From Minnesota, he drove to your place and just showed up.
He didn't say where he came from. He said he'd been camping along the way. Asked me, can I stay a couple of nights, and then because he was leaving in the morning.
He was leaving today?
Yes.
Okay.
And supposedly he had to go back to Minnesota because he told me I was on probation, not parole.
Okay.
And he had to see his PO on the 17th.
Was he burnt on the 7th?
Yes.
Burns all over his face and stuff? What do you say that was from?
It says from a camp sleeping too close to his campfire.
Okay. Out there at your trailer, I asked you about a black car. Have you seen a black car?
Now I have never seen a black car. I've never seen the car, period. His mother told me that if he comes around, he'll be driving a black Honda.
When he arrived to see you, he had that silver car?
Yes.
You being his husband, why wouldn't you question where he's been and what he's been doing?
I just didn't, I never.
You weren't curious where he's been for the last...
Yeah, I've asked him I knew where he'd been. His mother told me where he's been. He's been in Minnesota.
Okay.
And seeing some girl, and that's basically all I know.
Crawford told investigators that he hadn't seen Porter in months. Suddenly, after so much time apart from one another, the former husband appeared at his door with burns across his face and arms, and a chilling confession that left Crawford repulsed and terrified.
Where'd you go?
The place I went with him I went to Walmart.
Okay. Walmart where? What time?
Walmart in Cabot.
Be real specific.
I sold the phone for him at the Eco ATM.
At the what ATM?
Eco ATM, that's where you recycle cell phones.
Okay. And what do you get for selling a cell phone?
I think he got like $85. The reason he wanted me to do it because I did that while he went to the customer service.
Why do you go to customer service?
He returned a propane hose or something like that.
Why do you have a propane hose?
I don't know, it's brand new. I guess for his camp.
Where's the pickaxe now?
It was actually leaned up against my trailer house right there. He got everything out of his car.
Those gas cans are inside your house. Are those yours?
No.
Whose are those?
Those are his. They come out of the back of his car.
Did Joseph ask you to do anything else for him other than take care of that cell phone?
No, he asked me to put some nail support on his face and asked me to take a shower and do laundry. I let him do that.
That silver car that's out there is his car?
Mm-hmm. He tell you how much you paid for it or where he got it from?
He said it was around $6,500. He didn't tell me where he got it.
Where's a guy like Joseph get $6,500?
He could make payments. I mean, he draws Social Security check.
He doesn't work? He's got a trade?
He does mechanic work on the side.
You ever seen him with any suitcases or anything?
No, just his backpacks and stuff with his clothes in it that he had.
Crawford stated Porter drew Social Security checks to pay for the $6,500 silver Pontiac. Did he not realize it was stolen, or was he covering for him with unconvincing lies? The investigators suspected that Crawford had been holding back information that was vital to the case, either to protect his partner or out of fear of a horrible retaliation. Whatever the reason, they needed the truth. So, it was time to pry the nervous man open with a very uncomfortable question.
What if I told you that girl's dead and he burned her up?
I wouldn't believe it. That he did it?
Yeah. And what if I told you that you were going to be charged with an accessory for not disclosing information? For something that you knew. That you sat here and that poor girl's dead. And her mom was missing her.
Like that.
And you got something to do with it because he talked to you about it. What if I said that?
So he told you he killed her?
Yes.
He didn't tell you how?
He didn't tell me how he killed her. He told me that he burned her. And it was in a C-train or something.
In a what?
In a C-trans.
What's a C-trans?
It's like a metal container.
Like one of them shipping containers?
Yeah.
They do all on
That's
trains
it, yeah.
and cargo ships?
Yeah.
And where do you say he did that at?
He said, I think it was Louisiana.
That's bull. Where do you say he did it at?
He said Louisiana. That's what he told me.
So he's drove from Minnesota with a dead body in his car all the way to Louisiana, burned her up, and then drove here and stayed with your neighbors for 2 days before he ever come to
That's
see
exactly
his
what he told
husband.
us. He told me that he burned her in Louisiana.
And why did he say he burned her?
To get rid of the body.
Is that how he got burnt?
That's how he got burned.
Did he tell you that?
Yes.
He told you that he got burning the body?
Yes.
What Crawford did not realize was that, on January 6th, a charred body was found inside a burning shipping container. DNA tests and dental records confirmed that it was Christina Proden, and that it was her blood that stained the condo. With some mounting pressure on his shoulders, Crawford cracked and finally confessed what his partner had told him. Porter admitted to killing and burning Proden before disposing of her remains in a metal container. After so much time, the terrifying truth that had been eating away at the husband for so long was finally out in the open. No longer would he have to hold on to this terrifying secret about the man he once cared about the most. But these weren't the only unsettling details he had to share.
When he come over, he asked me if I'd ever killed anybody. And he told me, he said, I think it's going to become an addiction. He was arguing with Christina when he was packing. And he said, he just held his hands like this and he said, I killed her.
How did he say he killed her?
He just said I held his hands like this. He didn't say, he never told me how he killed her.
Strangled her, shot her?
He never said that. Never said, not how he killed her. You know, I couldn't understand him really. He was crying. He was upset. And, you know, the way that we were, you know, I thought, you know, I might have been next.
Because he said he might be addicted to it.
Right. And he told me that he got some gasoline and he burned her. That's all I know.
What else did he tell you?
And he just said that the reason he did it because he didn't want to go back to jail.
Didn't want to go back to jail for what?
Over him and her fighting.
Domestic abuse thing?
Because he said that those cops had been there 3 times that day or something when he left.
Is that why you got rid of the phone for him? You pawned it instead of him?
No, he just asked me to do it while he took that thing back in there.
He didn't give you a reason to say this is Christina's phone and I need to get rid of it?
No, he told me they were all his phones.
When did he tell you that the car was stolen in Louisiana?
That was yesterday.
And what did he tell you he did with the black car?
He told me that he sold it for junk.
He didn't tell you what city in Louisiana?
No.
Didn't you think that was odd that your husband just admitted to killing somebody and then you just not tell anybody?
I was dumbfounded. Well, he told me exactly. He said, if you tell them anything, I'll only be here on probation violation. I'll be out. I will get you. I'll make sure they get you for accessory if you do tell them anything later on.
Finally, a potential motive is uncovered. Did Porter want to be rid of Proden permanently so that he would not be sent to jail? According to past police records, there had been numerous domestic disputes between the pair. Proden accused him of sexual assault in one of them, and since neither followed the no-contact order that was secured, she would then decline to pursue the investigation any further. Afterwards, Porter was interviewed separately, unaware of the increasing amounts of evidence that were already uncovered.
Talk with what's going on. You think it's probation violation that you're here for?
That's all I've done wrong.
Well, okay. What did you violate? What's your violation?
I left the state of Minnesota.
You're on violation there? I mean, you're on probation in Minnesota?
Yeah.
So you've been convicted for something there?
Mm-hmm.
What were you convicted for in Minnesota?
I was convicted for Danko violation.
For what?
Danko violation.
What is Danko?
Violating a no contact order.
They sentenced you to probation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were not supposed to leave the state.
I wasn't supposed to leave the state of Minnesota, and here I am.
Where are you originally from?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Are you asking me questions that you already have the answers to?
Part of it. I mean, some of my answers I know and some I don't know.
Based on his body language, Porter seemed smug and appeared confident that he was simply being interviewed over a parole violation. However, his tone became more spiteful when he spoke of his relationship with Proden.
I worked.
What is her name?
Her name is Christina Proden. A few days of living with her, we got into 3 arguments, and finally I just had enough. And I told her that we weren't going anywhere. This is our future. This is what we're going to be doing. And I'm not going to do this.
How did she take that?
Not good. She started screaming, and I got mad, and I asked her to quiet down. You know, walls are thin. Neighbors can hear. It's condominium. Finally, after 30 minutes or some crap of being yelled at, I yelled at her, shut the up, and she just got louder. So I ended up breaking one of my computers, and the neighbors called the cops, and they came over, and we explained to them what was going on. They left. 30 minutes, an hour later, they came back again. They helped me pack my stuff and take it down to my car, and I told them, hey, look, I got somewhere. I have to work the next day. I cannot deal with this. And they told me that the best thing to do is just end it. They left, so I had all my stuff in my car. The third time the cops were involved was right after they left. I was sitting in my car, and I wanted to smoke a cigarette before I started driving. She ended up walking outside, and I seen her, so I put my car in reverse, tried driving off. She grabbed my door handle, so I slammed on my brakes. I don't want to be responsible for anything. She got in my car, and I asked her for about 20 minutes, please get out of my car. And she would not get out of my car. She just kept begging me not to leave, not to go, stay.
You drove and you got as far as Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And your car broke down.
Yep.
What'd you do with your car in Iowa?
Left it.
Just on the side of the road? Walked away from it? Or did you sell it?
No.
What'd you do with it?
I was in a city and I just left it right there.
What city was it?
Des Moines.
According to Porter, after the domestic disturbances, he drove off and eventually abandoned his car in Iowa when it allegedly broke down. He then claimed he took a bus to visit his husband. Interestingly, he claimed he did not know who the silver Pontiac belonged to. This would, of course, be outed as a lie, as he was spotted driving it. After refusing to speak further on the matter, he would continue to feed the investigators more false information.
Where's Christina now?
She's in Minnesota.
She's in Minnesota at the condo?
Yeah. The last place I seen her.
Because they tried to contact her and she won't respond to anybody's calls.
Okay.
When they were looking for you, they were trying to find her and they can't find her either.
Okay. The cops have had that problem with her before.
Of her disappearing?
Of her not answering their calls.
How should we get a hold of Christina? Because there's a lot of people that are concerned
Go to her
about
place.
That's been done. She's not there.
Go to her mom's place.
She's not there. Her mom's worried about her.
It's the only 2 places I know of.
She's not either one, and you were the last one that had contact with her besides.
I'm not the last one that had
besides
contact
the police.
The investigators were not fooled by his lies, though. Consequently, his demeanor became a lot more aggressive.
Tell me, what are we going back to? You said
I'm
you're
going
bitch.
back.
No,
I'm going back to the holding cell. Kiss my ass. I'm going back to the holding cell.
I will take you
We're
back.
done. We are done.
Okay. I hear you. Sit down.
No, I'm not sitting down. You can take me back. You can take me back or I'll walk back.
No, you can't leave until we get the police officer. So I want you to sit down. If you want to quit going around in circles, we'll quit going around in circles. Did you have anything to do with Christina being disappeared?
No.
You haven't acted very concerned about it when we've told you that she's been missing all this time. Her mom doesn't know where she is. We've checked every place we know. Her phone has been in your possession, not in her possession, and you haven't acted that
Why am I supposed to be concerned about all this bull?
Because you told us you love her.
And?
That's why you should be concerned. You asked us a question, that's a straightforward question. Why should you be concerned?
And my mother has cancer and I love her, but I'm not concerned about my mother.
Did you tell Richard what happened to Christina?
Why don't you kiss my ass?
I'm asking you a question. Did you tell Richard what happened to Christina?
No, I didn't.
I just got through talking to Richard, and Richard said that you killed her and burned her.
Yeah.
So Richard gave it up. So now we know. We know the truth.
Richard has no reason why.
He got no reason to lie.
Sounds like somebody doesn't want to go to jail. And anybody in the right situation is going to lie their ass off just not to go to jail.
Give whoever family she has some closure of what happened so they're not worried about where her body is.
Take me back to the cell now. You can tell the judge to suck my too.
Porter's black Honda Accord was located near the burnt shipping container and where the Pontiac G6 was stolen. Its license plates were missing and were likely stripped away. Inside the vehicle were receipts for a gas can, shovel, and pickaxe from 2 different stores. CCTV footage revealed that Porter purchased these items and filled up the gas can at a fuel station. Porter was charged with second-degree murder and was interviewed less than 3 months later. After all this time, was he finally ready to confess to the crime?
Joe, when did you tell Richard what happened?
When I was at his trailer.
Did you go to his house before New Orleans, or did you come back to his house from New Orleans?
I ended up at his place after everything. I got stopped in Minnesota,
Missouri,
and
then down here,
and then Evening Shade.
In Missouri and Evening Shades, they come up and talked to you and looked at the car, right? Or was it just Missouri?
No, both of them.
Had both of them, right?
Both of them searched my vehicle.
How'd that make you feel?
I gave them permission.
I know you did.
Though Porter does not explicitly confess to the crime, his poor posture, slack arms, and unfocused gaze are signs of a man who cannot keep lying anymore. Finally, he explained in detail how he ended her life in a fit of rage in a sickening and chilling confession.
She kept hitting me, and finally I had enough when she backhanded me in the mouth that I backhanded her back. And when I did that, I slapped her a couple times. And I sat on top of her, on the bed. I started punching her in her ribs, to knock the wind out of her. Can't breathe, can't fight. I punched her in her face. I got tired. So exhausted real quick. I got off of her. I sat down. She sat up. I looked at her face. And I just started crying. She said, "Is it bad?" And I said, "Yeah. You want me to take you to the hospital?" She said, "No, I want the cops to." I'm like, "Okay." She got up, looked in the mirror. Her right eye was swollen. Her forehead, where her hairline was gashed. Her right cheekbone was gashed. And when she saw her reflection, she got even crazier than she ever was. And I was on my knees, the power cord around my neck, begging her to kill me. And I was begging her for her forgiveness. telling her how sorry I was, asking her to let me take her to the hospital. She started screaming so loud and out of control. Started scratching me, or slapping me, punching me, over and over and over. Finally, I got pissed off again. And I ended up hitting her more. She ended up sticking her thumb in my eye. I wrapped my arm around her throat. And all I wanted to do was render her unconscious. Just put her to sleep. Just for a few minutes. At that time, we were on the floor, in front of the closet, in front of the bird cage. And I'm so far gone. I felt her body go limp. So I figured she was asleep. I got out from under her. I looked at her. Her tongue was hanging out of her mouth. Her lips were blue. I've never given CPR. In 7th grade, they did what they could to teach us. And I tried what I could. Pumped her chest. I gave her mouth to mouth, but nothing happened. And I was so tired, and I gave it everything I could. I was crying, and I was scared. She wasn't moving, she wasn't breathing, and I panicked. I didn't know what to do, so I emptied out the red suitcase. I emptied out a charcoal gray one. I put my sleeping bag in the gray one. And my food. I ended up taking some of her jewelry, taking all of her cell phones. I put her in the red suitcase. I took them both out to my car, put them in the back seat. I just started driving. I can't just leave her in a suitcase. I can't just dump her off somewhere. So I ended up somewhere. I thought it was in Minnesota and Home Depot. I bought the tools. I was gonna bury her out by the lake where I fished at, so I can be close to her, but the ground was frozen. And I got even more scared, so I got back in my car. I kept driving. I wasn't scared when the cops searched my vehicle. I gave them permission because I wanted them to find her. I ended up in New Orleans. Don't know why the fuck I ended up there. I wanted to bury her because it was proper.
Crawford's confession was vital to the case, since he was unaware of the murder until he was informed, did not knowingly sell the stolen phone, and did not participate in the theft of the Pontiac. He faced no charges. Porter pleaded guilty to second-degree unintentional homicide on January 12, 2019. He was sentenced to 20 years and 10 months behind bars. He is set for release in 2034.